Segolis Wagwegu, Dewa Hakalakwani Waxanoda, Wagiskli Wagani Wagadalo, Onite Agana Wagahunja, UNJ Dignagi. Welcome everybody back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about an important subject of Oneida code talkers. So it's little known as far as I know that most people are aware of the Navajo code talkers, which were very prominent in World War II, but there were also Oneida code talkers. There were also other tribes too, but this was a top secret thing that was confidential until not too long ago. But from what's been revealed, there were 4 Oneida code talkers, and they were Lloyd Schuyler. He lived between 1922 and 2004. He was a U.S. Army veteran, had 17 years of service during World War II, saw 4 battles, and during the Korean War, saw 6 battles. He later served as an Oneida language consultant for the nation of Wisconsin. Rupert Adams lived 1919 to 1998, U.S. Army, National Guard, served 5 years, 28 days of service. During World War II, saw 2 battles. Hudson Dockstader, 1918 to 2004, U.S. Army veteran, 12 years of service. World War II, saw 3 battles, and also served during the Korean conflict. Hudson also served as an Oneida language teacher for the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. And lastly, Rimpton Dockstader lived 1920 to 1980, U.S. Army National Guard, 4 years of service during World War II, 32nd Infantry Division. The Oneida code talkers transmitted top secret tactical messages during the war, and their code was never broken or deciphered by the Japanese or the German during World War II. Their work protected critical troop movements and saved countless lives. And the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin declared that the Friday before Memorial Day was the Oneida Nation Code Talkers Day. I have a personal story that I learned from my grandmother, who knew Rimpton Dockstader as a relative. So Rimpton was born May 13th, 1920. He served during World War II. He enlisted on March 20th, 1941 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His cousin Isidore, my great-grandfather, was there to celebrate when Rimpton returned home from the war in 1945, and they went from tavern to tavern on the reservation as men bought Rimpton drinks. Rimpton had been stationed in Algiers, Africa, and Italy during the service. He was injured in Algiers when his Jeep was destroyed by a bomb, killing his commander, and he was shot through the face. He was in the hospital over 2 years recovering from his injuries and had a steel plate in his head and returned home with a cast on his arm. He also suffered from asthma and breathing problems later in life, service connected. Rimpton died January 14, 1980, and was buried at the Holy Apostles Episcopal Cemetery in Oneida, Wisconsin. Rimpton was never able to talk about his military service, and specifically his role as an Oneida code talker, as it was a military classified secret. In 2008, Congress passed a law to honor Native American code talkers. Rimpton Dockstader was honored posthumously on November 20th, 2013 in Washington, D.C. with a Congressional Silver Medal for his role as one of the 4 Oneida code talkers during World War II. So I think this is an important distinction, as I said, that little was known about other code talkers besides the Navajo Nation, but the Oneida Nation also had served and fought as allies to the American as far back as the Revolutionary War. They were one of America's first allies and also had split with the other 6 nations, Iroquois Confederacy, over the war, and the rest of them had sided with the British. The Oneida Nation had also fought and served during the War of 1812. And then later during the Civil War, many enlisted, even though they weren't citizens at the time. And then all the subsequent wars, including World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, and everything up to then Desert Storm. Oneida Nation is proud of its veteran status and as patriots, but also for its long warrior history, its warrior spirit. And I talk about this in my book, Warrior Spirit, 7 Generations of an Oneida Indian Family. So if you're interested in more of this military history, check out the book. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Yawanko, Onagiwa.